It's time now for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
Sorry, the music's playing now, mate.
Now for the Pig
Yeah, well,
and
you
the
just have to
Hen
sing
Show.
for me, mate.
Show.
No, that's
Pig and
kind
the
of
Hen
cues
Show.
me in then.
It's
Why did you sing along, Craig?
Now for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
I'm not even singing it, is he? He's just fucking listening to it.
You're ruining it, mate.
And I
What
just
do you
have to
shut
imagine
up?
it.
Pig and the Hen Show.
All right, guys, how's it going? It's the Flying Pig here on the Pig and the Hen Show, joined by Henry Hotspur. How's it going, Henry? You all good, mate?
No, I'm not okay, man. I'm pissed off.
Why are you so pissed off then?
Because you get to listen to the theme tune and I don't. I requested that you'd sing it to me and you didn't. And then you just smirking in the background, mate.
We
I mean?
both know Ida can't sing, mate. So I saved you there, man. Do you know what I mean?
But you sing the theme tune. What are you on about?
Yeah, but you know that I had to do that numerous times. Then, do you know what I mean? Plus, there's a good chance that we're going to create some sort of a horrible echo if I was to sing along to it. So. It's not a good idea. But anyway, guys, here we are. We're a couple of minutes late. It wouldn't be the Pig and the Hen Show if we weren't at least a couple of minutes late. So thanks to everybody who's been waiting for us, and thanks to everybody that's tuning in live right now. Can see a bunch of legends. The usual legends are in here. We've got Griffo Chaz, we've got Mark Stachowski, Mark Sin, Clown J, Razurk, Seven Pikachu, Gungshi, Lalu Pato. There's a bunch of the usual legends in here, so thanks to everybody for
Mark
tuning
Sin,
in.
mate, he likes to comment. He's a new one. Mark Sin, shout out to him. I think the last game, you versus Crystal Palace, obviously we'll get onto that very shortly. But quick shout out to you, Mark Sin. You were involved on those comments, mate. Fair play.
I know we have got some great subscribers that do like to get involved, so shout out to all of you guys for being here. Yeah, you had a good week then, Hen? Have you had a good week watching the football along? I'm sure you've got a lot to say about what
It hasn't been
happened.
a great week. The trouble is, I'm one of them football fans that as soon as your team has a bit of a travesty, you kind of just switch off for a bit, you know? So, I mean, people are probably tuning into the Pig and the Hen Show this week thinking, yeah, the Hen's informed. He knows what's going on with the football. But, you know, you're disillusioned if that's the case. But you might be thinking, I'm gonna inform myself on what's going on in the football world. Well, you know what? You're not going to do that because Tottenham lose to Newcastle was a shocking result. And I kind of just like, I can't help but just sort of switch off from it. And I shouldn't do that. Obviously, we do the Pig and the Hen Show. I'm supposed to be informed. I have kind of tried to catch up today, find out the latest kind of Premier League goings on. But I am a very emotional fan.
So what exactly happened there, Hen? Because I haven't seen much of the game, but I do understand that, you know, Dummett had Harry Kane in his back pocket and Spurs were just a little bit shy, and it's kind of worrying, isn't it? I mean, it's worrying for United to lose to Palace, don't get me wrong, but United are not in the same place as Spurs at the moment. It's even more worrying that Spurs, a seasoned team with all these signings that they made, are dropping 3 points to Newcastle United. I mean, I find what went wrong in that game for Spurs? Did you watch it or what?
As a United channel, we're already talking about the Tottenham loss first because it makes you feel better.
Definitely, yeah. Let's lead with
makes
that.
you guys feel better.
We'll lead with the Spurs loss, and then we'll just sort of briefly touch over the Crystal Palace game.
If Wolves is a bogey team for Manchester United, I'd say Newcastle seems to be Tottenham Hotspur's bogey team over the last few seasons. We tend to just draw up funny results. I mean, I'm sure you remember where we got battered by them a season or two ago. And it's one of those. I mean, this happens from time to time. This happens, and it hasn't happened for a while. I thought we were over this. We are over this kind of like we come up against a team that's like back to the wall jobby, park the bus, etc., etc. I thought we were at the stage where we could break teams like that down. They get the break. We let in a cheap goal. It's a cheap goal. Defending should have been better, but those goals happen. Those goals happen to the best of teams. Yeah, I'm not gonna stand here and slate what happened. That happens, okay. But the fact is, we couldn't break them down afterwards. And this is a combination of the fact that you've actually got a very, very experienced manager behind the helm of Newcastle United right now that's been there, done that with these low level teams. We're gonna have a more of a chat about this. You're laughing, mate, but we need to have a proper chat about
Steve
some
Bruce
of these managers.
experience. Oh yeah.
Listen. Right, the way that I look at these managers and the way I see their teams set up and the way they go about the game managerially is something to be respected. And you could laugh again, mate. But you shouldn't be, because you got done as well. You got done by a similar manager in many respects in Roy Hodgson.
Fair one.
Bit different to Steve Bruce, but has pedigree. Okay, has pedigree. Unfortunately, Pochettino. All you need to do is listen to Poch. Poch is a good manager, and he said we just didn't have the desire. We did not have the desire to break down Newcastle and beat them, and that's exactly what happened. They get a bit of a break. They get a lucky goal. Then it's back to the wall jobby. They're solid, very, very solid, and it just didn't work out for us. We just couldn't do it because we didn't want it enough. And that's a horrible thing to admit, but that's the truth of it, and we need to do better. We are better than that. It wasn't because Newcastle are a better team than Tottenham Hotspur. We just didn't want it enough. Simple as that.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that's hugely worrying, isn't it? That the desire of Spurs' team has been brought into question already this season. The same could be said for United, of course. We've just come off the back of a quite frankly ridiculous result against Crystal Palace at Old Trafford. That was actually the first time Crystal Palace have beaten United anywhere in the Premier League era, which goes to show you just how shit Manchester United must have been in that game. Because, yeah, sure, Palace, they're in a good moment at the moment. They're one of the best Palace sides there's been, I suppose. But still, it's not like a team filled with truly quality players. They've got a few really standout players. Don't get me wrong, Wilfried Zaha is a player that I'd take back at United. I really would. But other than that, it's like they don't have a better team than United. So something's gone wrong elsewhere. Like similar to the Spurs game, I suppose. The lack of desire.
They've got some good players. You look at Van Aanholt.
Yeah, he's okay.
Van Aanholt.
He's all right.
Mate. He's
a pretty decent player, yeah. But I mean, they don't have any truly world-class, great players. They're a good team. Hodgson's obviously done well with them. Like you say, it is a similar situation really, because Steve Bruce and Roy Hodgson, they've both got vast experience within football management. A lot of it, maybe not to the level of the likes of Pochettino, or even very positive in the sense that Steve Bruce has been sacked however many times, so's Roy Hodgson. Just look at that England team under Roy. But the experience is there to even get that job in the first place. So I hear what you're saying. I think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got done by Roy Hodgson at the weekend, which I never thought I would say. We struggled to break them down. We couldn't break them down. They organised and defended and set up pretty well. But it really was United's mistakes that cost us in that game, because, of course, the Lindelof error, if you didn't see it, Lindelof just made an absolute schoolboy error with the clearance that led to the first goal. And the second goal, Pogba's given it away, and David De Gea's made a mistake at the near post to let one in. So it's just like errors is what cost us that game. And, of course, Marcus Rashford missed the penalty.
I love the way, though. I love the way that you're trying your best to draw comparisons, because you just love to kind of bracket United in the same respect as Tottenham Hotspur, that we both lost.
How could
in
we
similar
bracket
ways
you in there,
against Solskjaer managers. That is not the agenda that I was trying to bring up today, mate.
There's no way we're in the same bracket, mate. We've actually won the Premier League.
Of what I was trying to say.
Do you know what I mean? We can't be in the same bracket.
No. I'm talking in the context of this season, in terms of the players that we've got now and the managers that we've got right now.
I was just saying it was a similar game.
Completely different
couple of results.
We let in a cheap goal.
Couldn't break down the opposition.
We couldn't break Newcastle
there you
down.
Go, yeah.
We couldn't break Newcastle down. You against Crystal Palace was a completely different game. It was a lot. It was a lot more open. It was a lot more.
Because you were on my FTD stream, so you only went by what I was actually saying. So okay, you may have watched it back since.
Yeah, I watched the highlights.
Okay, the highlights, but that doesn't show you the fact that we couldn't break them down in the final third. Like it was a similar thing. Of course,
I didn't say that you couldn't.
Yeah, you said it was a different situation. I was just simply saying that it's a similar style that we went about it, and a similar style that we failed, in the sense that we couldn't break the opposition down.
But
we weren't good in the
what I'm
final
trying
third,
to say
and we
is,
made
I think that you're going to come across this. You're going to come across this again and again this season. Whereas for me, Tottenham's result against Newcastle was a blip. You're not going to see that very often from Spurs. You might see it once or at most twice more this season. United, you look at it every 1 in 3 games that you're going to have this kind of
Well, I mean, it's easy to say that, Henry, but it's a new season. Let's see how Spurs do. I mean, they had a good season last year. They could struggle. Mate. They could struggle, let's be honest. I mean, I know it's only one game. I agree with you. One game doesn't really mean anything. I'm sure Pochettino would have put all those players on blast after that one and just talked about the desire with them and maybe...
Well, Poch made mistakes. Yeah. He's not immune to mistakes.
Yeah, but like you say, the players are the problem with the desire in that game, or at least Pochettino's said that, you said, right? That's what he said, that the players didn't want it enough. Is that what he said?
That's right.
Right, so...
That is what he said. He said the players didn't want it enough. But he starts with Son Heung-min, basically my favourite player. It's not like I've got a problem that Pochettino wants to start him, but actually he shouldn't have started. Obviously he's been on suspension, so he's missed the last few games. And just to start him straight away, do you know what? Actually, let's not. We won our first game of the season. We drew with City away. Let's actually not let Son start straight away. Let him come on from the bench all day long. Don't just put a player straight in when they haven't been playing.
Fair one, but I mean, he is a top player, though, isn't he?
More impact.
He's a top player, though. I mean,
he is a top player, but I wouldn't have started him. So I disagree with
Poch there, yeah.
Yeah, it's a niggly thing there, but I would disagree with that starting 11 there.
No, I can't blame you, mate. I mean, I thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made some big errors in the starting 11 with the game against Crystal Palace, like starting Lingard. I don't know if you saw Lingard's last couple of performances, but he's been absolutely bang average dog turd shite. So for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to select him in there, even after a couple of poor games, it really makes me question Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's mentality with this team. Is he just going to pick players based on the reputation or based on what he thinks is the best team? I'd like him to actually pick it based on who's doing well, who's looking good in games, who's coming in and taking opportunities. And Jesse Lingard is not one of those players. And what annoys me the most is that, fair enough if we didn't have anybody sort of waiting in the wings, but in pre-season he was giving games to Gomez, he was giving games to Chong, these young lads that are just absolutely quality and have great talent, but they're young. They're only going to get better with experience. And he's not playing them. He's choosing people like Jesse Lingard out there, even though he's been poor for a while, and expecting to get some sort of a different result from him, where he didn't get a different result. He was just absolutely gashtastically poor again. So in terms of selection, I think that Ole Gunnar's also made some mistakes. So there's more parallels that would draw in there. Selection mistakes, desire mistakes, substitution mistakes possibly. I mean, the lack of in-game management from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was once again evident. And I don't like to criticise Ole Gunnar. Trust me, I love the guy. I want him to do well. But the fact is, he's not managing these games very well in-game. He's waiting too long to make subs. He's not seeing where the problems are, which I can see. Jesse Lingard, rip him off the pitch. No, he's persevering, he's sticking with them, and it's not working for us. And unfortunately, he is showing his managerial inexperience here when he comes up against somebody like Roy Hodgson, who has got lots of experience on his side. He was found wanted, mate. So I can't gloss over the last couple of results. United have been shite. The Wolves game I can sort of let go, because Wolves are a good team at the moment when we were away, and they are our bogey team. But Crystal Palace, man, they've never beaten us in the Premier League there. That's a game we should be smashing every single week. So I don't care if we haven't signed the midfielder. We still got a better squad than Crystal Palace. So something went seriously wrong there. And it does stem, unfortunately, I think, from the initial team selection. He got it wrong. We don't need a presser like Jesse Lingard on the pitch. We need a creator who can unlock that defence. And that's what we didn't get. So, yeah, I mean, I just think it's filth at the moment. It's a filth start to the season for both of us, really. Now, I know you did well against City, getting that lucky point. But you have lost against Newcastle. It's a bad start whichever way you look at it for both of our teams, and I'm not happy about it, mate. I'm really not happy about it.
It's not a great start, but I mean, for me, it's basically one game which is a shit game, and that you always get that. As long as you only have that horrible feeling once every fucking quarter or third of the year, then I can take that. Yeah. I can take that. If you're talking about, you could count them on one hand, where during a whole season where it's like, yeah, that was a shocking performance, yes, then you can still have a great season. So, Tottenham Hotspur right now, one, notched off one. So we got 4 left. Even that's being generous, really, 2 or 3 if you want to, 2 if you want to be right up there. But in terms of like a top 4 finisher is still having a decent season, that I guess they've got one hand's worth of fingers and a thumb. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's
What are we talking about? Jesse Lingard. I mean, do you want me to talk about Jesse Lingard for a little bit?
Sure. I mean, might as well just read out. We've got a super chat here from Gungshi, actually, seeing as you brought that up, and who comments. Thank you very much, Gungshi, for the super chat. He says, Ollie must start dropping underperforming players like Lingard. Play Gomez instead. Continue, Hen.
Okay, interesting. Well, okay, so a couple of things I've got to say about Lingard. Number one, in terms of watching highlights of the game, in terms of listening along to you with your little stint there with Full-Time Devils, and congratulations on that. It was a very well done performance on the Full-Time Devils, and hopefully people listening to the Pig and the Hen listens along to that, and that was
hopefully
brilliant.
We've got a couple new people in here from Full-Time Devils, mate. Do you know what I mean? Because I did plug the podcast 3 p.m. on the Wednesday, so there might just be one or two randomers in here.
Potentially, if they like the look of your face that much, then they might have just thought, do you know what? I actually fancy this person a little bit, and I'm going to click subscribe on his actual channel.
Crikey.
Could have happened. You never
Interesting
know.
how your brain goes there.
No, that's more interesting how your brain goes there.
It is. But yeah, no, I think Jesse Lingard's just shite, mate. He's not going to be the United player starting week in, week out. He's just a squad player. He's a decent squad player, but that's
the
it.
point I was trying to make. Yeah. The point I was trying to make. I hadn't finished. The point I was trying to make is, yes, you did your thing there. You did the live match cast, brilliant. But I was actually there with the rest of us, actual, normal minions in the YouTube social media world on that live chat, on that, during your live stream, just trying to pick up on what people are saying, getting involved, getting stuck in there. And there was a lot of people watching that stream, commenting, saying Lingard is just not performing. Get Lingard off. What is Lingard doing? Lingard's doing nothing. Some of it was obviously more derogatory than that, but that was the general gist of it. Okay. That coupled with watching the highlights of the game, extended highlights, I know you can't read too much into that, but still, it's a good 10 minutes plus of watching the key moments of the game. And Lingard, obviously, was not involved in anything. In anything at all. That's not good enough. If he's playing in that position, if he's playing in that role behind the striker, where he's kind of central, and he should be getting stuck in. He's not getting stuck in at all. He's getting stuck out.
Are you finished?
And that's his problem. Yeah, well, I guess so. Well, I want to hear your rebuttal to that, mate. Lingard is an issue now.
100%. But he's always been an issue though. Like he's a decent player.
He's been put into an important position there by Solskjaer.
I agree. Yeah.
That for me, that is Christian Eriksen's position.
The thing is, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer,
there?
what he's right in some ways, Jesse Lingard is probably the right man to play in that position in certain games. And what I mean by that is when you come up against, actually, it sounds counterproductive to say this, but he's probably more effective against the bigger, better teams like a Man City, who are going to have a lot of the ball in front of them, and you need someone who's got the energy and can just run around in that area, win the ball back, put the pressure on, and just press them high up the pitch. You do need that. I think that is very, very useful. But when you're playing a team like, say, Wolves or a team like Crystal Palace, who are not going to be flooding forward, who are not going to have the lion's share of possession of the football, they're just going to sit back and try and counter you, basically. And they've got they've got two defensive banks, effectively, very, very tight. And in that instance, I think you do need somebody who's got a bit more ability with the football to with vision to unlock a defence. Somebody like Juan Mata, for instance. Now, I know Juan Mata's not been great for United recently, but he would have probably made a lot more sense playing in that position than Jesse Lingard that day. Just simply because he's a passer, he's technically very good, he's intelligent, he's got the vision. He could unlock a defence with a pass. Jesse Lingard's not that man. Jesse Lingard is a great presser, but that's it. That's about it. He's a headless chicken in a lot of ways. So I think you're totally right.
Sometimes you kind of need someone with a bit more physicality. I mean, what I've noticed is since Lukaku's gone, even though Lukaku's obviously an out-and-out striker, he's still offered a bit of physicality, a bit of muscularness. Is that the word for it? Up front, that does make a difference. Muscularity. There we go. And you're kind of lacking that. I mean, I know Alexis Sanchez hasn't been involved in. Obviously, we're going to get on to his loan move to Inter.
It's clear Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to play a different way.
But sometimes you need that. And okay, Solskjaer's playing in a certain way, but we've got physicality in Tottenham. Man City got physicality. All these things. You never
But
win.
You don't
anything
need
with kids.
physicality, though. You don't need physicality to be a good team.
You sort of
You don't.
do.
Look at Man
I
City's
disagree.
team.
You do need a bit
Look at
of
Man
it.
City's team. They're a bunch of
City's
tiny little scrimpers.
City's got a bit of physicality.
Nah, not up
They've
top
got a
there,
bit of
though.
physicality,
Not up top.
right?
You've got Aguero, he's a little scrimper. You got David Silva, he's a little scrimper. Bernardo Silva, a little scrimper. They're a team full of scrimpers, just like Barcelona were a team full of little players.
Yeah,
you
but
don't need that.
you know, Manchester United are not.
Yeah, we're not there yet. No, we're not there yet. No, but that's what we're going for.
Barcelona,
That's what we're going for. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has a clear vision, mate.
Ole Gunnar
is
is not going to. It's not going to be an emulate. It's never going to be able to emulate that type of team.
Nah, that's bullshit,
that's
mate.
where you're
No,
always going to be worse.
Not
than City,
ever.
mate.
That's a bit harsh just to write us
I'm going
off
to say
like
that right now. You never. If what you're trying to say is Ollie's trying to emulate what Pep's doing. Good luck, mate.
Well, I'm not saying he's trying to emulate it.
chance.
I'm just saying he's trying to play a certain way. He's got rid of the big lummox up top there. We're not necessarily playing with a hold-up man. We're looking to play with fast, pacey attackers, getting in behind and unlocking defences that way. The old Manchester United way. That's how United play. We never play with a big, massive target man up top there. So I like the fact Ole Gunnar's trying to bring us back to roots.
You still had strong players.
Yeah, but in certain positions. But I mean, if you're talking about height and size and things like that, you know, Scholes and Keane. Yes, Keane's a strong player. He's not tall. He's not a big player.
Cantona.
Berbatov. Are you trying to tell me Berbatov was a physical player? You're taking the piss. He was the opposite of a physical player.
But what
he was literally a little.
It was
literally
a bit of a lump, though.
Anyway, no, Berbatov was not a good example. Cantona, fair enough. Yeah, okay. He was more of a physical player. There's been others. There's been others here and there. But what I'm saying is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer seems to.
I think you're harsh on Berbatov.
I love Berbatov, mate.
He scored
I love him.
shitloads of goals for Manchester
hang on a
United.
sec. You're trying to say that I'm
Brilliant
dissing Berbatov. I'm not dissing Berbatov. I love the Berbatov. I'm merely stating the point that he's not a physical player, mate, which is 100% true. Doesn't mean he's not a great player. Well, you're putting words in my mouth here, Hen. Okay? Now, the point I'm making is Manchester United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they're trying to play a certain way, okay? Now, we're not doing it right at the moment. We're not doing it effectively. It will take time. Maybe it will never happen. But you can see what he's trying to do. Unfortunately, he selected Lingard in that game. Wrong decision, in my opinion. Needed somebody who can actually feed the balls through to Rashford and Martial properly. Get them in behind. If we're going to play with pacey attackers, thread the balls through. But Jesse Lingard is not the man to do that, in my opinion, nor will he ever be.
Thread the balls through. Is that a little kind of like, are you trying to give us some kind of like symbolism that you need Fred back involved?
No, because I pronounced it thread and not Fred, but okay then.
Okay, well, I mean, the similarity's still there.
Hey, look, I'd rather see Fred play, mate.
Connection.
I'd actually rather see Fred play, not in that role, but if you were going to play Fred, I don't know, Fred and McTominay with Pogba in front. That makes more sense to me right now than playing Poxy Jesse Lingard, who's clearly not good enough. And maybe it would allow Pogba to actually play in a role that he likes and free him up a little bit to create, because he is a good creator. You saw that some of the assists he has made for United over the years, fantastic. Even in the Chelsea game, he got 2 world-class ones. I'd play him there. You know, if I had to play. So
what's
Pogba,
going on with Fred? You still got Fred? He's been on the subs? Is he on the bench?
Yeah.
Is he? I
don't know why he's not playing. I really don't know why Ole Gunnar's not played Fred at all. I could understand it if, you know, like McTominay and Pogba were performing so well, but they haven't been really. So I feel bad for Fred because he's coming to United. He's not really had much of an opportunity. He's done it sporadically here and there. He's been gifted the odd game here and there. And it's difficult when you're coming into a struggling team and you've not had a lot of time and you've not had a lot of game time to actually perform. So I do feel sorry for Fred, and I want to see a lot more from the guy because he's supposed to be a good player. I mean, we've paid someone in the region of like £50 million.
What position does he play?
He's a centre mid.
Is he like a defensive
sort
mid?
Of, yeah, he's sort of more of just a sort of centre mid, like a central midfielder. Not the most defensively sound.
From McTominay or Pogba, but you're not gonna get Lingard off for Fred in that
not
kind
really,
of attacking position.
No, but you could put Pogba up there. Yeah, I mean, I think Matic and Fred maybe makes a bit of sense there, even though I don't rate Matic. I'm just saying those two types of players, because Fred is probably better defensively than some players, but he's also not the most defensively sound player. So you'd probably need to play him with somebody who is defensively sound there, and he can sort of be the creator to get the likes of Pogba away. But look, I haven't seen enough.
Well,
of Fred,
can't you just have Fred and McTominay and push Pogba up into Lingard?
Well, that's exactly what I just said. Yeah, did you not hear me?
No. I mean, you were talking about getting Matic back involved.
No.
Fuck
Before I said that,
you don't want
though.
Static, Matic
No.
back involved right
Before
now.
I said that,
Stick
though,
with
yeah.
McTominay. I think McTominay's been doing all right. I haven't seen him make much of a foot wrong.
He was shite in the last game, but
you know, and this is from a neutral. I think I don't have a problem with McTominay. Okay.
But before I started talking about Matic, I suggested that playing Pogba in that
more
hole.
up front, mate. Pogba is more, get him into a more creative role. I think he's kind of hindered next to McTominay.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. What you needed to do is you needed to sign someone else.
Yeah.
That's what you needed to do.
It's true, yeah. I mean, I just don't think Pogba's ever really going to do it, even though we put him in that position. Like, I remember last season, everyone was saying, look, why is Mourinho playing him there? Play him advanced. Play him in the hole. Play him in that number 10 role, if you like. And then Mourinho did that. And guess what?
A number 10 role.
And guess what?
Right.
Pogba was freaking shite. So, okay, I know that he probably prefers that role. He will create more there. I'd actually put him there right now. Much more interested in seeing Pogba in that position than Lingard at the moment anyway. Because it would allow us to actually bring somebody else in, whether it be Fred. I don't know who it would be.
Well, this
Ghana,
is it.
Maybe.
This is it. Do you know what happens? What you need is competition for spaces. You need to get Lingard out of the team right now because he just hasn't been performing at all. You slot Pogba right in there. And do you know what? You tell Pogba, right, you're going to make this number 10 role your own right now. Otherwise, you're going to be on the bench and Jesse's going to be back involved. And surely that's just human nature. You're going to get the best out of those players. And if you're not, then you've got a bigger problem. But that's what if I was Ollie, I'd be just trying to try simple shite like that to make something happen. Because at the moment, the trouble with Manchester United, you've got a thin squad and you've literally got all your kind of best players or players that think they're something special because they played for England, etc., in these positions, and they feel like they're untouchable. And I'm not blaming the players. It's not their fault. But anybody does better when you've got people pushing you. Simple as that.
Yes, mate. I mean, something needs to change at United 100%. I mean, he's not got it right so far with his selections. Lingard needs to be dropped. In my opinion, at this stage, I'd probably drop Pogba too. I know, okay, put Pogba in a number 10 role and see how he does. That's an option, yeah, definitely. And it does make a lot more sense than playing him in a role that he's clearly not comfortable with a bit deeper. But, I mean, he's not done enough for me. I'd actually, right now, what I'd like to see is as crazy as it may seem, I'd say, look, Fred, you've got an opportunity here. McTominay, you've got an opportunity. And Angel Gomez in behind the striker, you've got a bloody opportunity, lad. Go out there and fight for your place in this team. A couple of players who've not really been given much of an opportunity. I think you get the most hunger and the most desire out of those players at the moment because they've got actually something to prove and something to fight for. Pogba, on the other hand, he said in the summer he wants to leave. There's probably a good chance that Real Madrid or Juventus or somebody will come in with a bid before January or during January transfer window. So is he even going to be here that long? Is it even Paul Pogba's mentality to try and do the best that he can do at Manchester United? Or is he just looking for an easy ride until he gets the dream move that he wants? That's the question.
That's a massive question. I wanted to just quickly talk about, is it Daniel James?
Yes, mate. Let's talk about Danny James.
It is Daniel James. But basically, in my eyes, I think, wow, what a young talent you've got there. And I know in the comment section the other day, I was saying maybe he shouldn't be on right now. And I'll stick by that. He's one of these players where, do you know what? If the rest of your team was all like, it's like putting up a tent. If all them pegs are in place, hammered down, everything's secure, then you could afford to have a Daniel James there, which is like a nice like souvenir peg for the tent. It's not required to keep that tent in place. It's more kind of like, check out this peg. Yeah, I bought that one. It's nice, isn't it? It's nice, fresh, in fashion one right there. Yeah. My tent's looking good. He's kind of one of those players. And the trouble is Manchester United.
That was some
right
analogy,
now,
mate.
Your tent is not. Right now, the tent is just not quite secure, you know. And Daniel James is still shining. He's still got that little shiny peg right there. But do you know what? He would fit in so much better if everything else was just in place, and he could be your next big thing. And I feel sorry for him. He's managed to come through with a goal twice this season, is he not? Brilliant from the young lad. But
mate, I 100% agree with you.
Is he
there,
really?
Yeah.
You know, and how can you not start him at the moment? what we need, I mean, I can't believe I'm talking about starting 11s for Manchester United right now. But for me, you just need to have a bit of solidity there. Martial needs to be starting. Rashford needs to be starting. Lingard, ship him off. Get Pogba up there. Get Daniel James on the right. Bring someone in next to McTominay. I don't know who the right answer is. I mean, obviously, Fred is not in favour. Keep the back line the same. Lindelof and Maguire. Obviously, you've got Shaw and you've got Wan-Bissaka with the hair. I mean, it's a great team, isn't it? You know, I can say, I can't believe I could just reel off the United team like that.
Yeah, I mean, Luke Shaw's just picked up a big injury.
Team, but
so
there's a
he's
couple
out.
of positions. Lingard for me is an issue right now. And I'd imagine a lot of people agree with me.
100%, mate. But yeah, go back to Dan James. I mean, I think he's done tremendously well, considering it is a struggling team and a lot of the players are performing subpar at the moment, especially in that Palace game. For him to just pop up and show that quality, because I didn't really know he had that quality. I assumed he was going to be like this flying winger. You know what I mean? Getting balls into the box. Bit of an Antonio Valencia when he joined us, just pace merchant, get down the wing, whip a ball in. But actually, he seems like a general all-round good footballer. And that finish, I mean, like I said it in the live stream, Lionel Messi would have been proud of that finish.
He can score some goals. He's done it.
It was a fantastic finish.
Nice
He's got
goals.
2 goals, which is just as much as any other United player has scored in the league this season. Same as Martial, same as Rashford. So I think that is a real...
Pretty much just as much as any other player in the whole Premier League, apart from Pookie and Norwich.
I think it's a truly amazing signing. Just because he does look like he's got so much potential. He's only 21. He's got pace for days. He's one of the players that I'm very happy with so far this season. And he was getting a lot of stick. People were very annoyed with him about the way he celebrated that goal, because he runs over the corner flag and then Martial and Rashford grab him and say, look, there's still time left here. It's 1-1, you prat, basically. And some people were a bit funny with him about that. But look, he's inexperienced in that sense. He doesn't necessarily... He got carried away.
He's
a kid. He got carried away in the moment. He's celebrating a goal. And to be fair...
He's a shiny tent peg.
And to be fair, for most teams, if you get a late equaliser, that is a goal worth bloody celebrating. Just not for Manchester United at home. It's still worth celebrating, but come on, let's go get the winner. So he'll get that mentality. So I think people jumping on him for that, they just absolutely clueless. Give him a freaking break, lads. I just want to read a couple of these super chats that have come in, and what we will do is go back to all the comments at the end. We'll have like a subscriber questions bit at the end there. We can fire stuff at me and the hen, but obviously if you guys are taking the time to send these in, I do want to highlight them. So Griffo Chaz comments and says, I'd love a Pig and the Hen Sunday League team. Do you know what, Griffo Chaz? This is the guy who's local to us, by the way, mate. One freaking day, I'm going to set up some sort of a football team. Honestly, I'm not even joking. Like, one day that will happen. Henry won't be in it because he lives in China, unfortunately. But, you know, not because he's shite, Henry. Calm down. I'm just saying because you live in China, that's the reason you won't be in it.
But Peg, let's be honest with our listeners right now. Have we not tried something like this before, like a couple of years back? And I'm not going to say too much about it.
Mate, I was fucking great,
the name of the team was shit. The position that we finished in after we did about 3 or 4 games and then we decided to call it quits was basically rock bottom. And it was an embarrassment. It just, you know, Griffith Chaz, you're bringing up bad memories right now.
That was just some six-a-side calamity. We didn't have the players, did we, mate? Come on. That's what it was. Look, to be fair, I was putting in a 9 out of 10 performance between the sticks every week.
Mate, I just quickly, I just wanted to move on. I just wanted to mention Rashford's penalty miss.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, and this ties in with the Pig and the Hen show of last week when I said that you didn't have an allocated penalty taker as such. And guess what? You got a penalty come up. You know, you're getting the penalties. Rashford's there to take it. What, is he the allocated penalty taker? Was he supposed to take that penalty? I guess you say yes, but why didn't he take the penalty last week? This is just a knock-on effect. Pogba misses one. And then Rashford, you know, his confidence is dented slightly, perhaps, because he didn't take the penalty last week. Now he misses one. Now you don't know who your penalty taker is. Even if you had Rashford miss last week's and miss this week's, then at least you kind of know, okay, well, he's had 3 and he's missed 2 and he's scored 1. Well, let's let him take one or 2 more, and then we'll, you know, Ollie's got to have a chat with him and say, look, mate, maybe do you fancy letting someone else try be the penalty taker? That's how you should manage a team. But you know what? Ollie has absolutely fucked things up. Absolutely. Just from the penalty taker point of view, which is a massively important part of football these days, penalties can be the difference between top 4 finish or not, winning the Premier League or not, actually staying in the Premier League or getting relegated for some of the lower down teams. And that is where you've got things wrong already this season. It's such a shame because do you know what? The first pick of the hen of the season, I said, well done to Rashford. That is season defining. He's taken the penalty. He scored it onwards and upwards. And Solskjaer pissed all over that ideology a week later when Pogba took the next penalty and missed it.
I think that was Pogba's doing, mate. I mean, I don't know that, but I do believe that there were some reports afterwards that Ole Gunnar gave Pogba a dressing down afterwards for doing that. Obviously, this is just hearsay. We don't truly know that. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Hen. I do. I think Rashford should have just been made the penalty taker. Maybe he would have scored that penalty if he was allowed to score last week's penalty too and build up that confidence and that, you know.
You could have been looking at 9 points.
True, yeah.
Think about it in that way. It's easy to sit here and say, oh, well, it was Pogba's fault. So what you're telling me is Pogba has just cost you 4 points.
Well, no. I mean, it's easy to say that, isn't it? And this is the thing with penalties. Like, you know, I'm sorry, we're saying this now, Hen, but if Pogba steps up and he puts that away, which he should, we all go off fair play for Pogba for doing that. That's good leadership out there. He took the responsibility on and he banged it away. Now, if Rashford scores that penalty in the last game as well, you go in, nice one, Rashford, quality. And there's fractions in it, mate. Fractions just grazed the post. Like, there's fractions in it. So we're talking about it completely differently. It's not really, you know.
I have to disagree, though. I don't like it.
Yeah.
As a fan of Tottenham Hotspur, Harry Kane takes our penalties, and it's simple as that. Everybody knows it. That's what's going to happen, regardless. And it just gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling inside. Okay, and
but what if you've got more than one quality penalty taker?
You are lacking that as Manchester United fans. You completely, 100% that comfort in your strike, in your penalty taker. And do you know what? The next time you get a penalty, well, what's going to be the thought in the back of your mind? You don't even need to tell me, because I can see it all over your face right now.
David De Gea
and I
steps
can even
up.
Just feel it over every United fan that's listening to the Pick of the Hair show right now. In the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, please don't miss one again. Oh, I don't know who's going to take it.
No, but anyway,
please just put it in. And that is,
totally
do you know
agree,
what?
Like,
that negativity, mate. That negativity transpires through the whole team and the whole culture of the club.
We should have that old school penalty taker like when we had Ruud van Nistelrooy at the club. It's like, yeah, he's the penalty taker. Or when we had Eric Cantona at the club, but yeah, he's the penalty taker. Do you know what? Do you know why he's the fucking penalty taker? Because he can score the bloody penalties. They barely missed any penalties throughout their whole United career. I think maybe Rashford and Pogba, they've missed more penalties in the time that they've been there than Cantona and Ruud van Nistelrooy did in theirs. And that's actually true. And we also used to have Dennis Irwin take the penalties. I mean, I don't know if there was a time when Dennis Irwin and Cantona were both taking the penalties. Possibly that's true. But those guys, yeah, you're right. We did used to have that definitive penalty taker. This is the guy. He's the freaking goal machine. He barely misses a penalty. Eric Cantona's penalty record was absolutely insane, man. I think he might have missed like one during the whole time he was here. He was just so dependable. United don't have that. Maybe that's come from Ole Gunnar mixing it up, who said, look, I don't know, mate. Who knows what he said? Maybe he said, whoever wins the penalty, you take it. Whoever, you know, I doubt it. But in my opinion...
I know who your penalty taker should be right now. I know who it should be. Do you know who? Zlatan.
Excuse me?
Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I'm not even joking.
Well, if he was there.
He's actually... Did you know what he's come out and said
today?
Or yesterday? Oh, I read it in the news, right? He's basically he's there for United if you need him.
Really?
It's almost laughable, but it's not really. It's not.
Mate, it's a bit windy again, mate. Can you?
You know, United just lost to Crystal Palace.
Where were you a minute ago?
You do need a bit of Zlatan.
Where were you a minute ago? It's just gone windy as, mate.
No, I mean I'm in the same place, but the wind's picked up.
Yeah, no. To be fair, I said it in a recent video. I'd definitely take Zlatan Ibrahimovic back even right now. I don't care if he's 38. Don't care if he's playing in Mickey Mouse League. He's fucking better than we've got at the moment. He's an actual talisman. He's a leader. He's a goal scorer. Come on, he's a physical beast as well. Look, I don't necessarily like the way that United had to play when we had Zlatan in the side, because you have to use him as your focal point. But when you don't have the quality throughout, which I'm sorry United just don't do right now, maybe we are comparable to a bloody Sweden or whatever, where you have to play to, your best players. And that is what Zlatan did.
A Swede.
When Zlatan Ibrahimovic was at Manchester United, he was the best player that we had. And if he came back, he probably would be the best player that we had again. He's just that good. He's that bloody good. It would be a backward step in some ways because Ole Gunnar is trying to give the younger players the opportunity. He's trying to allow Martial to step up. He's trying to allow Rashford to step up. But they're going to have to step up. And if they don't step up, then they would have to be replaced pretty damn soon because there's only so much time you can give faith and belief to these players before you get returns.
I have to be honest, mate. I'm just going to, I know after the first game of the season, I said that could start your season. It could be good for United, and I still stand by the fact that I think Harry Maguire is going to be a great defender, great player. Okay, but do you know what? I don't think Ollie's cut out for it. I'm going to fucking say it. I'm not a United fan. I don't do a United channel. What do you mean I changed my tune? I've never stood here and said that I think Ollie's going to do it.
First game, you can't think season defining. This is the moment.
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now,
fickle.
Just from the first few games and listening, I blame you because listening to you has given me an insight into United, and it's difficult for you to admit it because you're a United
I love
fan.
Ollie, yeah, that's
so
the problem.
you criticize Ollie, but in your heart you want it to work. You want Ollie to do well.
It's not like Moyes, it's not like Mourinho, it's different, mate. This is personal, do you know what I mean?
It is very different, and for me, looking from the outside and the way I've heard you talk about Ollie, the way I've heard the comments coming in talking about Ollie's team selection and his in-game management, etc. It's just not going to work, mate. And you know it deep down. Deep down, you sort of know it.
No, I can't defend.
You're not going to admit. I'm not going to expect you to.
No, fair enough, Ed. I mean, I can't defend his team selection and I can't defend his in-game management. It's been poor. But what I can say is that he can learn. He can change, can't he? He can adapt. He's just going to have to do that now. Rather than just...
So why didn't he change and adapt it when he was at Cardiff?
Don't know. He was shit, wasn't he? He was learning. He was getting managerial experience, mate, Look, he's not got a great record. He took Molde to the Norwegian Championship, which is quite a good achievement, but it's nothing, is it?
Swap him
by
for
Cardiff,
Frank Lampard,
absolutely
mate.
poor.
I know you've done Chelsea first game of the season, but I'd rather Frank, mate.
What is that based on? No, you're just taking a piss. Look, it does annoy me, though, that United are in this situation and, like, Spurs have got this consistency, even though you lost the other day, you've still got a good manager, one of the best in the league, good young manager too, really. And you could have him for a long time. It's a good time for Spurs, whereas United is the same old, really. We've got a manager we're not so sure is going to work out, and I really hope that he does, because like you said, I love Ollie. It's a personal thing. Can you cup your microphone, mate? Otherwise, this is just going to be filth to listen to. But
well, I might have to just vacate downstairs, mate. If that's going to help.
It hopefully will, yeah. Because
so I'm sort of in a natural wind tunnel.
But Ole Gunnar, it's personal with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We love him as a player. He was, of course, the baby-faced assassin for us, the super sub. He scored the winner in the 99 Champions League final. He holds a special place in Man United fans' hearts, which means he'll get longer than Moyes. He'll get longer than Van Gaal. But I don't know if he'll get longer than Mourinho, to be perfectly honest with you. He's going to have to get results. He's going to have to start putting the right team selections out there. His teams are going to have to perform. He's going to have to manage games better. If he can see Lingard's having a bad game, well, you're going to have to make the decision early on. I'm not adverse to managers making substitutions at half-time. If you can see something is clearly not working, then you should make a change. You should be proactive. And I'm not seeing that from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer right now. I'm not. I'm seeing a bit of a dumb mentality in terms of team selection, and I'm also seeing a lack of adaptability during games to read the situation, to see what's not working, and to make the decision. Whether or not that annoys a player or whatever, you've got to take that out of it. And you've just got to manage it objectively and see what is going to do the best for our team. And he's not doing that. Look, Hen, it's only a few games this season, but if you look at our form going into the end of last season as well, I mean, we have not done well for a while. United are in a slump. We've got to get out of it. We've got Southampton coming up. Also, you've got... What are you doing for the game on Sunday, mate? Are you watching that, or is it too late your time, or what?
Well, I always try watch.
Should we do a watch along? Or is that not feasibly possible?
I don't see. Wow. It depends what time it is. I think
it's at 4:30 UK time, so that is ridiculously late your time, isn't it?
Nah, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Fair play, mate. Fair play.
Not
Well,
possible,
you'll
mate.
have to catch up with that the next day. But I might do a watch along on the channel anyway, guys, for the Arsenal Spurs game, just because it's a big game, and maybe I can support Arsenal for that day.
We get Alex Rudd on the show.
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, he's commented in here. Alex Rudd, thank you very much for getting involved. Alex Rincon as well. Bunch of legends. Super chat here from Gungshi. Comments. Hen, where's your beverage?
I've got it here, but you might not be able to see
What
it.
is this beverage you are drinking?
I've got a beverage here. But you want to know?
Is it,
really?
is it the
You're
same?
really
Is it the
interested?
same as last time? Just the old Bing towels or whatever?
No,
nice.
it's not. It's right. Let's get the. I mean, I'm just trying to help people see things. It's difficult in the dark. Probably can't see shit. It's a Degen or a Dagen. It's not actually a real German beer because we're in China, and what you get is it is actually imported from Germany, but it's not a worldwide brand. It's almost like some random German
China only
beer that kind of thing. You know, it's like a wheat beer. You know, a wheat beer.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Is it a Pilsner?
It's like
Is
if
it
you
a
pour
Pilsner?
it into a glass. If you pour it into a glass, you can't see through it for shit. You know, it's kind of like cloudy as fuck.
Yeah, I do like a good
that
Pilsner,
type
mate.
of thing,
to be
like
fair.
an Erdinger or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
It's all right. It's okay. I'm drinking it because it's just got a couple more percent alcohol than a lot of the lagers in. You know.
Super chat from Mark Sin comments. I'm eating bacon and eggs in on a review too. Put it down, lad. Okay. We're not interested in talking about cannibalism here, buddy. Okay.
What did he say? He's eating bacon and eggs.
I'm only joking. It's just because I'm the pig and you're the hen. He's eating your children. He's actually eating my rump, mate.
Oh. Yeah, a bit out of order, actually. Unsubscribe, prick.
We've got a super chat from Alex Rudd as well. A bunch of super chats coming in. I'm just going to read them out. We will get onto all the paupers comments as well. Don't worry. I'm just choosing these because they're highlighted right now. But Alex Rudd says, Derby, Henry, because, of course, it's the North London Derby on Sunday. Thoughts? Do you think you're going to come out on top in that one? Let Alex Rudd know.
It's a tricky one. I mean, you know, I watched... I tried to watch Arsenal Liverpool the other day, and you know, obviously they teared you, not a new one, an old one, reopened that wound because
reopened that second arsehole. Is that what you're saying?
Liverpool. Well, exactly that. But
that's messed up.
you know, but to be fair, Tottenham have a wound waiting for Liverpool as well. You know, we both our clubs, Alex, we don't tend to perform well against Liverpool in general, and it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a North London derby. You just never know. You just really never know. It doesn't matter about form. It doesn't matter about who's kind of got the better team or the better manager at the time. You really just never know. So it's all to play for.
Absolutely.
No thoughts.
Absolutely.
Cannot give thoughts on it.
Fair play. I agree. Yeah, let's see what happens. Comment here from Ibrahim Sidat who says, I'm beating Henry on Fantasy Football League. Oh, it's a sore topic for this one, me, buddy, because I had an absolute shitter of a week.
Oh, is this guy must be in the top three or so? Because I'm pretty sure I'm kind of fourth or something ridiculously high in the league out of 70 plus.
You're doing well, mate.
And I haven't even actually tried that hard, mate. You know, I'm fucking absolutely flying. You know, it just kind of goes to show that although everybody obviously follows the pig and thinks he's some kind of football guru. Question yourself, guys. Question yourself.
Well, it's early days, isn't it? The problem is I've got 4 United fans in my fantasy football team.
It's usually the person that kind of knows
Absolutely not.
the right players, the players that do it well. Pig is too... Pig has got his dick in his hand over Manchester United, and that's
the mistake that I made.
Doesn't give a crap about the rest of
That's
the
the
league.
mistake that I made, putting 4, because I actually had 4 Manchester United players in there because I put Maguire in my team while he was still at Leicester,
exactly.
even though you're only allowed 3. So that's where I've gone wrong, is because United drew with Wolves
mad.
and we lost with Palace. That's where I've gone wrong because most of my team is United. Okay, bad move, bad decision from me. I respect that, Hen. But all you did was choose the most selected players in your team. You didn't even think about yours. You just went for the ones that were selected by the most people. So, okay, you're using your Moneyball tactics there. I respect that. But don't try to act like you're some guru here, mate, because you selected the players that everybody else selected. You told me that yourself. But anyway,
Actually, I didn't just tell you.
I know.
I told everybody on the pick of the head. I just
this
realised.
is the segment. This is the segment, though.
Still, I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well.
Good comment there, mate. Ibrahim, because this is the segment you reminded us where we just give a weekly update of what is actually going on. So currently in the Pig and the Hen League, there's 78 players. And unfortunately, I'm sat in 55th place. I got 31 points last season. I'm on 149 points overall. Who is exactly 50 points ahead of me after 3 games? It's only Undom Bellens. It's only Henry Hotspur. So he's actually doing well. He's in 5th place. I can see Ibrahim Sadat. Shout out to you, Ibrahim, because you are in 2nd place, my friend. You got 63 points this week. Respect to you, and you're currently 2nd place.
Ibrahim Sadat. What players has he got?
Let's have a look at Ibrahim's team. So he's got Nick Pope in goal.
He's not first, though, is he?
No, he's not first, but we'll shout out to who's first in a moment. So yeah, he's got Timo Pukki up top. Do you remember in the last week's video I said Timo Pukki did amazing and I was going to put him in my fantasy football team? Yeah, and then he had another amazing game. Well, I didn't put him in my fantasy football team just because I forgot. I forgot to change my captain, forgot to make any sub, forgot to do the whole shitty thing after week bloody 2. So that's probably another reason why I had him there, but that's why he's done so well. He's got Pukki, he got Salah, he had Sterling, so that's why he had a great week, to be fair to him. The first person who's first in the league, let's give a shout out to Sabija Radomir Pavisovic. That's right, the Serbian commander himself, currently sitting in first place. I don't know if he's Serbian, but it sounds like it. He's leading with 220 points. The guy's bossing it, mate. So it looks like it's between Ibrahim and Radomir for who wins that Pig and the Hen merchandise bundle at the end of the season. I'm actually hoping it's you, Henry.
What do you mean, mate?
I'm hoping it's you,
I'm
Henry.
going to win that stuff.
That's it. I'm hoping it's you. Then we don't have to pay out, do we?
Mate, you will have to pay
want
out,
the gear,
mate,
do you?
You're going to have to send me that stuff out to China, mate. It's going to cost you.
Fair play. That brings me on to my next point. I've added a couple of new merch items to the Teespring shop.
Just quickly. Sorry, who was it? You sent me a picture of someone wearing a Pig and the Hen hoodie the other day. Yeah. Who was that?
Do you not know who that is? Are you serious?
I don't know who that is.
That's a disgrace, mate.
Who's that?
That's only the one and only Alex Rudd. I mean, come on.
Oh, is that Rudd?
Come on, Henry Hotspur. Take an interest in your followers.
Rudd's face, mate. I've never seen Rudd, mate.
Yeah, well, fair play. Well, that's Rudd. There he is, with his big puppy dog eyes, mate. Alex Rudd, the true legend of the channel. One of the true legends of the channel.
Well, fair play. Well, he's the first person I've ever seen wearing some Pig and the Hen clothing.
I know, that's awesome though, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Respect. Shout out to you, Alex Rudd. Thank you so much for purchasing that and rocking it as you did as well. You're a true legend. If anybody ever does buy any of these things, send a pic.
I'd still like to ask him. I mean, he probably just wears it and sends a picture. But when it comes to actual his day-to-day apparatus, I doubt it. I mean, is he actually walking down his local high street like Pig and the Hen?
I hope so.
Video yourself, Rudd. Do it. You know what I mean? Stop people in the street and say, do you know what this is about? That's what he needs to be doing, mate, if he's a proper fan.
Fair play. Right, guys, so that's the fantasy football. You can join the league if you go to my recent community post on YouTube. If you're looking for the code, I know it's late and you won't really have a good chance of winning because it's from game week 1. But if you want to join the league, search Pig and the Hen Show League and enter the code that's in my community post. Let's get on to the next topic though, Henry, because I did want to talk about, and this is what I've actually titled the video, because it's looking likely now that Alexis Sanchez will be joining Inter Milan on loan for the rest of the season.
Wow, so you've titled the video, you didn't...
It's one of the titles of the
I
video.
didn't even know. I don't even know what the title of the video is. I just kind of, you know what I mean? Just have to go
along with it, yeah.
Make it difficult for me, don't you, Pig?
I better tell you then, also the other part of the title is Berry expelled from the EFL. So we'll talk about that in a moment too. But on to Alexis Sanchez. Yeah, I mean, it's looking likely that they're going to pay, I don't know, somewhere around 50% of his wages. I had a bit of a mathematical mare yesterday on my video and got confused with weeks and months. So my breakdown of it wasn't very, very good at all. Rachel Riley would not have been proud. But the fact is we're going to get him off our books. We'll save 50% of the money that we are currently paying him. I know it's a bit crazy with the lack of people we've got up there, but at the same time, we need a new start. We need a new change. We need to get rid of some of those old mercenaries, the ones that have all that hype and pressure on them. Because if Sanchez comes back into this team, he's expected to perform right away. And if he doesn't, the pressure becomes on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer again. And I think we just need a clean start. I'd rather see Mason Greenwood, a 17-year-old lad at the moment, given the opportunity ahead of Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez did shit all last season over 20 games. He did nothing. What makes people think that he will do the same, or that he won't do the same, and that will actually be good? I mean, okay, he's good for Chile. He's a good player, but I think he's just past it in terms of being a United player. He never was. He never was a United player.
It's definitely the right thing to do. I will apologise to the big quickly. He did. Obviously, we do talk before we do the Pig and the Hen show, and we do plan the show and try our best to make sure it's going to be
do it so much today.
listenable, watchable show out there. So apologies. We did discuss these topics, but yes, Sanchez to Inter.
So what you're saying is you're just full of shit.
United, you still. Come on, man.
Sorry, mate. Carry on.
Come on, mate. I'm trying to,
You're trying to elevate.
What's going on?
Do it.
I'm beyond that, mate. Beyond that. What was I saying? So yeah, you're still paying $6 million a year this year for Sanchez, and he's doing nothing for you.
Unreal, isn't it?
You're saving yourself a bit of money. It's probably the best thing to do because obviously he's not on Ollie's plans. You're not really going to be seeing him coming off the bench. He hasn't even been on the bench, has he? I mean, I guess this has been in the hierarchy of United trying to sort a deal out for this person. So
it's true.
Okay, let him go to Inter. Do you know what? Let him go to Inter. Let him show the world what a player he is. And you said yourself the other week that he actually looked okay for Chile the other day. If he could go to Inter, if he could actually, be the player that he was, or just be even just a shadow of the player he was. You know what? There's no buy option for Inter as far as even though I think United wanted an option for Inter to buy him. I think Inter didn't want that. They just want to loan him.
They've got a very good deal out of this, because they're not paying a huge amount of money for him. It's not like they're paying 350, 400k a week for him. They might have had to pay an upfront fee. I'm not really sure, but. We've got a comment here. Mark Sin says Inter Milan only paying the equivalent of $4.5 million for him for this loan. Bargain. So yeah, it's not a huge gamble for them. All the gambles for us, and we're still paying the lad to go and play for Inter. It's kind of like I know what you're saying though. It does make sense to get him off the books. It's kind of like this: do you want to eat 100 kilograms of shit, or do you want to eat 50 kilograms of shit?
That's
basically what it is.
Kilograms of shit.
You'd rather eat the 50, wouldn't you?
And then watch somebody else that I'm not even friends with eat the other 50 kilograms of shit, and hoping that once they've consumed that 50 kilograms of shit, that they might fucking pop out a bit of fucking golden shit that I could then scoop up as part of the deal.
That's it. There might be a piece of corn in there lurking. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, a golden corn nugget.
Oh, it's messed up. But that's what it's like. We'll pay him. We'll go and pay him to play for somebody else. It doesn't make sense in a lot of ways, but because of Woodward and getting us in that financial situation with Alexis Sanchez, that's what we're going to have to do. We've got to cut our losses.
You've got no other choice.
Cut our losses.
You've got no other choice.
Absolutely.
He has to go and see how he gets on. He doesn't. He sticks out like a sore thumb at Manchester United. It's good to get him out of your dressing room, because it's just right now it's not going to work for him. He needs to spend a bit of time away. It's almost like, I don't know, this sounds weird, but like sometimes people might go to prison for 6 months and come back and turn out to be a different person. I mean, that's an awful analogy because we're talking sport, we're talking crime there, but he really just needs some time away. Let's forget about the prison analogy. He just needs a holiday.
So what you're saying is he's a bit of an Adam Johnson.
He needs no, he's not an Adam Johnson at all. No, forget about that. I'm talking shit. I've had a beer or two. He needs a holiday. And Inter Milan are a holiday, and you're paying for his holiday, and they're paying for his holiday. He's the winner, isn't he?
He's the winner. That's it. He's making so much money here. Does he really give a shit? For him, it's like, okay, I'll just go and hang out in Milan, one of the most cosmopolitan cities in Europe here, get paid a fat ton of money. It doesn't even matter if I turn up for work, basically. That's what he's doing. He's got the dream scenario. He can just focus on the doggies. He can focus on entering Bruno Mars impersonation tournaments and all that sort of stuff. So he's loving the new setup. He doesn't give a shit. I think as much as it seems like he's a nice guy, it's like, oh, look at his little chutchy cheeks, his lovely little Bruno Mars face. He's not actually that nice of a bloke, I don't think. I think he's a complete
Bruno
mercenary.
I mean, I love the Bruno Mars thing, but one day you just have to get a picture. You find the picture that you think looks most like Alexis, and you find the Alexis Sanchez picture to match, and then you just got to put it up there on screen, and you need to let the pig of the hen or the flying pig viewers out there judge for themselves whether he really deserves that Bruno name. Has anybody else made that comparison? Is he really such a Bruno?
No, he's probably not, mate. I'm just saying in the sense that he looks a bit like him. He's like small and he's not very physical. You know, and he likes to dance, the lad. So there's a lot of comparisons.
Oh, does he dance? Does he?
Oh, he just looks like somebody that does. Okay, Hen. All right. What has he got his mind on? He's playing the piano and shit as well. I don't know if you've seen recently, Sanchez is playing the piano and all this shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Alexis? You haven't seen any of this, have you? But anyway, no, fair enough. I think Sanchez going to Inter Milan's a good move for everybody, especially himself, because the pressure will instantly be off. He'll be playing in a slightly easier league. He'll have more time on the ball. He can reunite with Lukaku. They obviously know each other from their days of mediocrity at United.
He scored on his debut. Did you know that?
Yeah, but what, his actual debut, or was this against that bloody minnow team where he scored 4 or whatever? Because that doesn't count.
Well, I didn't look into it too much. I just read a headline, but he fucking scored.
Fair enough, he will score. He's a good player, mate. He even scored 1 in 2 for us during a struggling spell, so he's not bad. But I just don't.
You basically kind of lost your 2 best players, didn't you? Alexis Sanchez
on paper,
and Lukaku,
yeah.
In a way,
on
mate.
paper, like if you're talking about experience and
seniority. That's what's scary, isn't it? That's what's scary, mate. I mean, let's not go. We've talked about this before. I know,
but Ollie wants to play a different way.
It makes me laugh, mate. It makes me laugh, mate. You know.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like, imagine if Harry Kane and Christian Eriksen just went to Inter Milan this season. It's kind of like that. You would definitely be lacking your experience up there. But they're never going to do the job for United, I don't think.
Plus made no signings, yeah.
We've got a super chat here from Alex Rudd, who comments, once it gets cold, I will rock the hoodie. That's what we like to see, Alex Rudd. Thank you very much for purchasing that hoodie as well. And send me a photo.
What you need to do is get hats, mate. I would rock a pig in the hen cap, mate. A black cap with the logo on the front, mate. That'd be epic. Have you got that?
Well, I tried to set that up yesterday, and basically you have to pay like Teespring a certain amount of money in order for them to even approve the design and stuff and get it embroidered and all. So I mean, at some point, but at the moment we've got one sale, Hen. So let's not get too carried away here. Do you know what I mean? But
I'm ready to roll out the whole brand.
But that's what we want. Like somebody else said, put it on a snapback.
Soon we'll be coming out with a pig in the head car. Do you know what I mean? Fuck Elon Musk, mate.
That's it.
Drive the pig in the head mobile.
That's the eventual world domination, mate. Absolutely. That's after the football team.
I'm going to move on to that later after we've gone through.
Once we set up Pig and the Hen United,
other comments.
And we've got into the Premier League, then we'll look at the car company. Bunch of legends. Let's talk about the other main topic then in this show. Otherwise, we're never going to talk about it. Which I know some people just won't have that much knowledge about or that much interest in whatsoever, really, because it is a lower league team. But that is what makes it so bad. That's what makes it so important. That is that Bury have been expelled from the EFL. Now, it's not going to happen to City. It's not going to happen to United. It's not going to happen to these big teams. But what makes the English Football League system so great is the fact that there's all this rich history and all these little, municipal towns and all these little places like Bury, for instance, which support the local community and which are supported by the local community, and from a footballing sense, like a footballing family. And unfortunately, that footballing family has now been disbanded because of the mismanagement of a couple of people who own the football club, who've run it into the ground, and now they were lumbered with a couple of £1 million worth of debt, which to Premier League teams is absolute chump change. But when you're going down there, it can actually get to the point where you owe them the money, where they actually expel you from the football league. It's shocking.
Well, this is it. The easiest way to put this into context for anybody that's not into English football or doesn't know the ins and outs of it is actually to look at mainstream media such as FIFA. Okay, and bottom line, you're looking at a PlayStation 4 game, an Xbox game that is internationally one of the best-selling games. Everybody knows what FIFA's about, and you go onto that game and you try to access the leagues of the different nations, and you know what? There's no other country out there. You get into the French league and they've got their secondary league. You've got the same with the German league, the Spanish league, etc., etc. But you have nothing on there in comparison to the Premier League. Then you have the Championship. Then you've got League One and League Two. So you've got 4 leagues that reside in England, essentially English football, and it's a telling point. It's exactly what it is. You see it on the game. It's not just a game. That's real life. We have a history, a culture around football. You have towns across the country that love football. You've even got me and the pig are actually from a little town called Poole. Is that okay to say?
Sure, mate. Yeah.
So come and look
up
for
the
us.
Dolphins.
Okay, so up the Dolphins. So we're from a little town called Poole. That's actually still, they've got a bloody football team.
They do,
they've got a little stadium.
It's not a stadium; it's a field. It's a school field, mate. But the problem is, they don't have the facilities in order. They've actually won like the 7th or 9th or whatever it is league down there in the English football tier a couple of times, but they don't have the facilities to be promoted. So they're sort of stuck there. That's the problem. But just
basically stuck there. But look at Bournemouth. Bournemouth. Bournemouth is our neighbouring team. Look, everybody should know that they're in the Premier League right now, and fair play for that. But look at them a few years back, like literally in liquidation, in a similar situation to Bury. We thought Bournemouth might be no more, and they were lucky. They got the funding. They went onwards and upwards, and look at them now. And it puts a tear in my eye, even though I don't really give a fuck about Bury. Who are they to me? But I did go on a training course with work once. I was working I won't tell you what I was doing, but I met someone that was kind of affiliated with ourselves. I was playing golf with this prick, right? And he was a Bury fan. Imagine how he's feeling right now.
Absolutely. And you bring up such a good point there, Henry. Like, that is so true. The comparisons are almost identical. I actually remember my parents.
It's a Northerner.
I actually remember my parents taking me and my brother to the Winter Gardens in Bournemouth, which isn't there anymore. But it was basically a fundraiser for AFC Bournemouth. And we're not a family of AFC Bournemouth fans, but obviously it's close proximity to us. And it was at a time when they needed the local community to get behind them. And they were literally going around with buckets and people were putting money in them. That's pretty much the only reason they stayed afloat at that time. They could have easily been wound down. They could have easily been closed as a football club and expelled from the Football League. So just to think that they came from where they were and literally starting at League Two at one point, minus points because of it and stuff like that, and then to get to the Premier League where they are now and be, a perennial Premier League side is damn amazing, really. And that could actually happen to a club like Bury one day. They've won the FA Cup twice in their history, Bury Football Club. Okay, it was in the early 1900s, but still, that is a club with a rich football and history and tradition within the English game. So the fact that not more was done in order to keep Bury in the league is an absolute disgrace. What have you done with your camera there, Hen? Oh, there you are, you're back. Yeah, so the fact that not more...
Just checking my battery, mate.
The fact not more has been done is an absolute disgrace. How is your battery looking up, mate?
It's absolutely
great
fine.
Stuff.
But yeah, I mean, Bury. I think this guy was actually a Manchester United fan, but Bury was where he was from, and he still loved his local team, and you get that in England. And nobody can really accuse you of being like a glory supporter. Most people have their main team, and then you're still gonna kind of have a soft spot for your local team. And for me, I guess it would be Poole Town. to a certain extent, I look at Bournemouth.
I want Bournemouth to
Not
do
so
well. I
much,
do want
but
Bournemouth to do well, yeah.
I still want them to do well. I like them to do well because they're so local, but at the same time, I don't really
I'm a Poole
care
Town lad, mate.
that much.
Up the Dolphins at the end of the day. If Poole Town were in the Premier League,
No,
I wouldn't even give a shite about Bournemouth.
Oh, so I thought you were going to say Manchester
I'm
United
United. My family's all United fans.
That'd be
You know what
funny
I mean? I'm
as.
from a United family. You can't.
Denounce United if the Dolphins got into the Premier League.
Yeah, just screw the Red Devils, up the Dolphins. Imagine if I did that. Bloody hell. But I just want to read this comment out by Matt Lewis. It's very appropriate here, who comments, need to be more stringent with checks on owners. Bury a very respectable local team and a community united. Super sad to see them go. And I'm sure, sadly, loads more to follow suit. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You shouldn't be allowed to buy football clubs unless you are a truly fit and proper person. The ironic thing is they have these fit and proper person tests when you're buying a football club. So how do they allow people to take over and then run it into the ground? I know some things happen along the way. Maybe they've had poor results on the pitch, but I'm pretty sure they got promoted, didn't they, the season before this happened? So how is that happening? How is a football club being so mismanaged where they cannot afford to pay their bills? Their players haven't been paid since February, man, I believe. That is an absolute disgrace.
So what's happened is they're in debt. Is that why they're not allowed to play
I guess
anymore?
the owners have just mismanaged the club financially. So they've got them in a couple of £1 million worth of debt, which for a Prem side or most other side, it's not a lot of money. But for Bury, it's crippling, which means, and they just cannot fund it. They cannot get that money. So in order to pay,
so the debt is crippling because, I mean, in my mind, it'd be heroic, wouldn't it, if it was like, okay, the club can no longer pay a manager, can no longer pay players. But you know what? The local community gets together. You have a voluntary manager. You have voluntary players. And even if they lose 10-0 every game, it's still keeping the club going somehow. You know, in the spirit of things. But they're not even allowed to do that because the debt is there.
Listen, I know you can't go.
They're not allowed to be part of.
I know you can't go giving people money,
right?
But this is what's happened. The takeover of Bury has fallen down for various reasons, probably because of financial and stadium issues and all these sorts of things. That when they've actually got into the nitty gritty, they've gone, hang on, this isn't the greatest deal for us as prospective new takeover. Now, unfortunately, I think that the clubs in the Premier League, I know it's not their responsibility and they can't just go giving money to people, but if the top clubs, if all the clubs in the Premier League had to just, there you go, right, you've got to give £100,000 each to Bury to keep them in there. I know that's not the responsibility and it's not right to say that, but only if there's a new change of owners. Like if there's a new change of owners, and then maybe Bury have to, when they can in the future, pay it back to these Premier League teams. That shows the community within football that, you know what, we do care about the lower clubs, we do care about the provincial towns, we do care about these smaller clubs and these smaller towns that add up to one big greater picture, which is the English Football League. Without a club like Bury being a participant in the league since the 1800s, for fuck's sake, then, you know, United would, maybe United wouldn't be the club they are today, or the Premier League wouldn't be the club it is today.
I think you're being too much of a nicey guy.
Well, I do think that we should have helped them out. We can't just expel them from the league.
I understand what you're saying, but that, you know, once you get onto the kind of like, you know, the top teams are handing out essentially.
But it's nothing to them, is it?
The clubs that aren't doing so well, then, you know, no.
I know, you can't actually do it.
I don't agree with that at all,
That's the thing, you can't actually do it. But would it really be on any skin off Man City's nose if they just said, look, Bury, we're going to freaking sort you out, okay? You're close to us, we're going to sort you the fuck out. But no, they don't give a shit. Because they're just, it probably benefits them. They'll probably absorb a few of their fans. I just think it's wrong, man. Like, I think,
it's disgusting.
I just think it shouldn't happen. I mean, there should be provisions in place which stop people taking over football clubs without the correct reputation, without the correct finances, without the correct proof. That shouldn't be allowed.
Bury might be gone for now, but there's nothing stopping someone swooping in beginning of next season and investing in the club and re-energizing it. What, are you telling me they're banned from ever being a club again?
They're expelled from the Football League, mate. So if they were to be a new
club... Well, for how long?
Well, listen, I don't know. I haven't read it. It's only just happened. But as far as I'm aware,
surely they're not expelled indefinitely.
Well, no, listen. As far as I'm aware, they're out of the Football League, which means they're not in. You know, they're a League 2 side or League 1 side, whatever they are. I don't even know. But they're not in it, mate. They'd have to start down at the very bottom as a new as a new entity, I believe.
Which would be absolutely fine if they have the investment, and it would only take them a few years to get back up. That's how you got to look at it. You shouldn't, even though I feel sorry for them, and I know the name, and I know that's a club. Do you know what? Look at all the other clubs that are just nowhere near what Bury have achieved, even. And they're all fighting for it. This is just the nature of the sport, mate. It's like when you watch a Sir David Attenborough documentary and you see that tiger ripping apart that other animal, and you feel sorry for it because it's like, it doesn't have a mother anymore, or etc. etc. Do you know what? That's just the nature of the beast, and that's what makes the game what I love.
Yeah, it's easy for us to say this, though.
Do I sound harsh?
No,
Is that
I
harsh?
know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Like, but we are fans of Premier League teams. Like, if we were a fan of Bury, just imagine how heartbroken you'd be if Spurs had to wind down now. They're expelled from the Football League because of the financial mismanagement of the owners. And that's not happening. Spurs are doing well. But imagine that happened. You'd just be distraught, wouldn't you? You'd be gutted. Your lifelong club that you support for your whole life is banned from the Football League. It's no more. It's done. Dusted. Done. I mean, that is gutted, isn't it? I feel so bad for Bury fans, and I feel so bad for, Bolton as well, who that might be happening to.
Well, it comes
next.
back. It comes back to that comment that you read out from whoever it was. Apologies, can't remember. But that comment was spot on. I mean, you need to have proper, tried and tested background checks on these people that are coming in for the clubs, to diminish the chance of these situations happening. Simple as that.
100% agree with you, mate. 100% agree. Like, it shouldn't be happening in this day and age. It's very, very sad. They need to look at how owners are vetted. They need to look at finances of clubs and how open it is. Do you know what really annoys me as well? This is what really annoys me, okay? Bury, small Bury, with their financial issues, they are getting expelled from the Football League. Man City, a club which up until recently didn't have any commercial ability to generate that much money globally, right? They weren't a big club like United. They didn't have the global fan base. I know it's getting better for them. All these deals, sponsorships and things, it's helping with Etihad, that the fact that their owners are the same owners as that and all that kind of thing. That all helps to generate money through your football club, which means that you can show at the end of the financial year, this is what's coming to our football club and this is what's gone out. But what annoys me is that financial fair play for the bigger clubs is not really upheld very much. It's not like, oh, okay, Chelsea got a season-long ban. Really, boo-hoo, that's really going to hurt Chelsea. Well, okay, it might hinder them a little bit, but it's not like expelling them from the fucking Football League, is it? Now, Bury, they get $2 million in debt, which they cannot afford to pay back, and you're gone. It's like, I just think that the EFL, okay, City and the bigger clubs, they're generating all the money for the league. I get that. So they obviously want them to follow certain restrictions, and if they don't, maybe they're just going to give them a slap on the wrist, which seems to be what's happening. Nobody really takes this financial fair play stuff seriously. That's probably why Bury and teams like that are getting into a situation like they are. Promoted at the end of last season, 4 months later, expelled from the Football League. I mean, who the fuck is running that football? Who was running that? It's a joke, isn't it? It's a bloody joke. You've got to live within your means, man. You really do. It's all well and good for a club like United to spend 150 million with all the commercial deals and the money that this football club generates. But Bury can't go and do that. And
but you say it like that. And you've said it yourself. I mean, it's horrible for the fan, but the people that have taken that club forward, they've done it the wrong way, and they need to be fucked off. It's like City.
Yeah.
You're using them as an example, but bottom line, they can pay their debts. They can pay off who they need to pay. They're in a position where they don't need to worry about stuff like that. I mean,
there's a couple of really
simple as that.
Really good comments here. Darren Ruth comments the EFL and Bury Council could have taken temporary control, then found a viable solution. I think that would have been good. Give him a bit more time. Look, the current owner shouldn't stay the current owner. He should go. Absolutely. You can't just pay off some terrible owner's debts for him. I get that. I mean, Voodoo Chili 333 comments and says, giving money to Bury would give thumbs up to the owners to do the same and overspend knowing they will be bailed out. Well, they're not allowed to be owners anymore. You've proved yourselves that you can't run this football club. You're going to run it into the ground and the local community is going to suffer.
Do you know what?
So you cannot be no, hang on a sec. You cannot continue to be the manager. We're going to have to get, the owners. We have to get new owners. We're going to write off this debt. You've got bankruptcy, effectively. You're bankrupt as the owners, but the club's not bankrupt. The club continues on with the help of Bury Bury Council or the fans or whatever it may be until we find a solution of a new owner. That is possible, but I completely understand what you're saying though, Voodoo Chili, because you can't just pay people's debts off. But if they are going to clear the debts with the EFL, then the current owners should have to move on. That's what I'm saying.
For me, the biggest problem with this also is it just ruins the league, or whichever league you're in, for the rest of the teams. Okay, so Bury were in League One, is that right?
I believe so, yeah. I'm not sure.
Okay, so if they're out of League One, then so what happens? Have they played any games this season? What do the other teams?
Yes, they have. They
don't have to pay them.
Forfeit the last
So what
previous
happens
game. They did play some games, but they had to forfeit. Well, yeah, I don't know what happens there, mate. Does everyone
What do you
just
mean
get
forfeit? So if people have beaten them, then those victories get taken away.
Well, I don't really know whether or not they rearranged it or they forfeited it.
Let us know.
We don't
Let
know.
us know.
That's
If
the thing.
you're watching the Pick of the Head show right now,
Mm.
and you're an avid fan of League One, and maybe you kept an eye on what's going on with Bury, let us know right now, because this fascinates me. Do you know what? I'll put it out to you, Pig, right now, that I think there should be some sort of rule that it doesn't matter what the fuck's happened with any team in any league. You know, the league, that team needs to be able to finish the season regardless. There needs to be some kind of prerogative put in place, because it's not even just feeling sorry for that team anymore. It's just about the stability of the league and keeping things fair and proper for the rest of the league. Do you know what? That team should be forced to play for the rest of the season, even if they have to sell off all their players. They can't even have a proper manager anymore, and they field children. It should be the case, because do you know what? That'd be the best.
I hear you.
Amazing for the Bury kids out there that are, you know, the up and coming talents there. They're going to destroy 10-20-0 every game, but who cares? Because at least they're still fielding a team.
Yeah.
And they've got until the end of the season in that respect to sort something out.
Yeah, it's a mess. You're right, mate. I mean, Griffo Chaz, thank you very much for filling us in here. He knows this stuff. He's commented and said, Bury haven't played this season. There will be 3 relegation places instead of 4. So that's how they're fixing it this season. And I guess what? So 4 teams will go up from the league.
They haven't played yet.
League below. No, they haven't played.
How come they started so late?
I don't really know what's happened, mate. I mean, I guess they just had a
Does the league
financial
start
meltdown
later
in the summer.
than the Premier?
But no, he's also said that Bolton have played fixtures because they're in a similar boat. That could be happening to Bolton very soon as well. He comments and says Bolton have played fixtures, so if they go the same way, then points one off of them will be taken away. So that is just ruining it. If you beat Bolton this season and then Bolton go bust, the points that you won off of Bolton are removed. That is filth, isn't it? That could really decide what happens. Good knowledge there, though, Griffo Chaz. Thank you very much for filling us in here. Gungshi comments, HEN.
Well, assuming he's right, you know, could be just talking pig shite, but hopefully that's spot on.
Gungshi comments, HEN, you are in good form tonight. Very statesmanlike.
What does that mean?
Statesmanlike, I guess, you know, very, maybe like impartial, respectable, possibly. Do you know what I mean? Ruthless.
As opposed
ruthless.
to what?
I don't know. Let's
well, thank you, Gunji.
No,
it sounds like a nice compliment. Hopefully, as long as you're not secretly mugging me off, I'll take it.
Let's have a look. Definition of statesmanlike: a person who is experienced in the art of government or versed in the administration of government affairs. A person who exhibits great wisdom and ability in directing the affairs of a government or in dealing with important public issues. Respect, Gungshi. Loving that Henry Hotspur today.
Okay, well there we go. I mean, I think time has come now. I think we've covered Bury quite well there. The time has come for the comment section. What we need, Pig, I'll tell you again, and I'm going to put it out there so other people could bug you about it as well. Is with the super chat money, we need to invest in a pay-as-you-go mobile phone with a random telephone number so that we can have phone-ins for the Pig of the Head show.
We will do that,
and we need to make that happen. Random people can phone in and we can talk to them. And if they talk shite, they're gone. But you know what? If they talk a bit of golden nuggets, I'll eat it.
They talk golden nuggets, you eat it. I love it, Henry. That's messed up. Fair play to you. Just talk for a moment because I'm just got to do something quickly on this computer anyway, mate. So you just keep talking.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk about call-ins. Do you know what? Lads and lasses out there, we're trying to improve the Pig and the Hen show. I know it's not perfect. Obviously, we've got Pig sat in a nice room there, and he's got his
Guns for
2-litre bottle of
the
Pepsi
Pig in the
Cola or
Hen.
whatever he's got there. He's comfortable. I'm out in the humidity of where I'm living right now, out and about, because it's the time difference. It's like, what? Right now it's late evening. I've got people that I live with, so I can't really do the Pig and the Hen show at home. Hopefully that answers many of the questions to the comments that we've been receiving of why I appear homeless. That's not the case. I love the Pig and the Hen. I want to continue to do the show, hence the reason I need to be out and about, but I don't have anywhere else that I can actually sit down in a lit environment and do a proper show. So I apologise for that. But do continue watching. We love the show. I want to implement phone-ins, because I think that, that's what makes things interesting. We might have someone that phones in, and do you know what? They could be some absolute prick stain. Of course they could be. But at least we could all get behind the fact that they're a prick stain. We're going to listen to what they say, as long as they're not too obscene, and deal with it at the time. And then some of you lovely people out there might actually want to phone in and have a proper chat. And it just adds another dimension to what we're trying to do here.
See, what I wanted to do is do it quite professionally and have people Skyping and stuff like that, but we're not going to be able to do that. Well, because it's just a bit difficult for me to make sure there's no echoes and shit like that, and all the production of it's fine. So what Henry says is absolutely true. I don't even need to get a new phone, mate, because I can just put another SIM in my phone, because it's got 2 SIM slots, and then...
We need a SIM card.
Yeah, we just need a SIM card. So, and then we can take calls, and I'll just literally hold it up like this, and you'll be able to hear it, and I'll be able to hear it. And they actually, no, it won't work, because they won't be able to hear you.
Fans out
they won't be able to hear you, I've just thought. So
why can't they hear me?
They won't be able to. You're coming through my headphones. If I play it through my computer speakers, then the microphone's going to pick it up and there'll be an echo. So it won't work, and they'll be able to hear me. I could do phone-ins, but unless we do it via Skype, which is more difficult, well, we'll have a look at that. We'll have a look at that. It's a possibility.
I mean, you just pissed all over my...
Well, I know. I just thought like they won't be able to hear you unless we have a horrendous echo. Just want to read this comment out from Kabir Shah. Thank you for your comment. It says, "Do Pig and the Hen both have the same hairstyle now?" I mean, we actually do.
I was talking about.
We were talking about it earlier. It's tragic, but we actually do. Funny thing is, I don't even like mine, so I'm gonna get it changed
soon. Mine's better, but mine suits me more.
It does suit you more, mate. Yeah, it's a more douchey hairstyle. So.
Douchey. What's that? What sort of? Who says douchey?
Loads of people say douchey, mate. Come on.
Nobody says that.
Maybe not.
Nobody says douchey.
Maybe not in those parts.
Don't even really.
Do you know what I mean? But over in these parts,
nothing about these
people
parts.
say douchey, mate.
These parts, mate.
People say douchey.
Nobody says douchey, mate.
Of course they do.
No,
all right, I'll create a new word for you. Douchish. Anyway, fair play. Look, we've got the same hairstyle here. How can I stop taking offence, mate? I've got the same douche on my head, okay? But it is shocking, though. I agree with you, Kabir. Like, you didn't actually diss us. You just highlighted the fact we got the same one. Don't know what we're doing here. It's not on purpose. We were having a laugh about it earlier, and was like,
it's not on purpose at all. It's weird, isn't it? Yeah. That just goes to show that we have the same stupid dickhead ideas.
Yeah. Gaz Newton comments, Pig Rahimovic. I reckon I make this look good, though. I mean, come on, Hen. I mean, fair enough. It's kind of sushi, but this guy said I look like Zlatan with this hairdo. Do you know what I mean?
No comment, mate. No comment at all.
Gungshi comments, Pig should fly over to China and do a show with the Hen on the mean streets of Guangzhou. One day that will happen, actually, Gungshi, because I'm definitely going to go to China in the next year or two to visit my friend the Hen. So that should happen at some point. I actually think that's possible.
It's probably not the best time of year to come out like now, like summer. You die, mate. If you want to see a pig sweat, then you do come over. But if you don't like the stench of that, then no.
Mark Sin comments, you can have a 3-way Skype. Yeah, we've tried it. We tried it with Alex Rincon, and I messed something up, and there was a horrendous echo. I'm not saying that would happen again, but what I'm saying, if we've got multiple guests calling in, and we're hanging up, and somebody else is calling, there may be some issues. But listen, we'll give it a go. It's definitely worth giving it a go. I would love to have call-ins and see what you guys think, even if you're a complete douchebag and you want to just have a moan at how shite me and Henry are at this or whatever. We'll give you a platform. We may not let you stay on the line very long if you're a douche, but we'll definitely hear what you've got to say.
Thing is, if you've got a pay-as-you-go phone, or you got that SIM card in your phone, or whatever you're saying, if someone phones in, then surely they can still hear what I'm saying through them listening to the Pig and the Hen show, assuming they've got
yes, but there's a delay
device.
though, because we're streaming. There is like a 10-second delay. So technically, you're right.
Right.
Technically, you are right, but it would just not make for very fluid conversation. I don't think, mate. That's the problem.
Sure.
Gungshi says he'll meet up with us too. He's nearby. I think it's going to have to happen, isn't it, Gungshi? If I come to China, do you know what I mean? Then we're going to have to meet up for a cold one, I think. Do you know what I mean? Gungshi, big supporter of this channel. It'd be rude not to. That's what I'm saying. Right, we've just approached the 90-minute mark on the podcast, Hen. So anything else you want to talk about while we're on air?
Well, usually when we get to the 90-minute mark, then we start talking conspiracies. I mean, we kind of got into this routine now, have we not? I mean, am I allowed to continue on in that fashion?
Well, you just say what you got to say, and then we'll decide.
Okay, so last week, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Cheers.
It's not something I love talking about, but if you want to talk about it, let's do it.
Well, we have comments about it. I think people do enjoy listening
Some people
to it
do,
because it just gives people a different spin of what's going on. Okay, so last week we were talking about fluorine in the water. Okay, this week we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about. Okay, I won't even. I just look at you, look how.
Shut up, you Alex Jones sympathiser.
Uninspired
You're an Alex
you
Jones
are.
sympathiser, mate. Okay.
So you've been paid to say that, haven't you, by the mainstream?
Look, CNN may be in my back pocket. That's what I'm saying. No, fair play.
Right,
Go on.
listen,
Anyway, you're talking a lot of COD over there, mate.
Elon
Nothing's
Musk,
actually
right?
come out of your bloody mouth yet.
Do you like Elon Musk? Right? We mentioned. I mentioned
think he's
Elon
a very
Musk earlier
strange
randomly
character,
in the podcast.
but I do like him. I think he's a visionary. I think he is a true entrepreneur. I think he's very intelligent, very influential man. Yeah, so I rate him.
Okay. For me, I'm not going to form an opinion on him right now because I'm not sure about what I see and what I really think about him. But do you know that there was a time where he was going through saying that he didn't agree with putting chips in human beings, and then he made a complete 360 on it, or 180, sorry. He made a 180 on that statement, and now he is promoting putting chips in people's heads where it actually basically kind of connects with your brain. And
symbiosis, I believe it's called.
Have you heard about this?
I have, mate, yes. And he's supposedly made some pretty important breakthroughs recently. But I think that's the future, though, Hen. Like, fair enough. People can change their opinions.
The future is, do you know what it is? The future is that you have to have this chip in your head to even be able to buy stuff and sell stuff and just go about your daily life.
Not gonna happen,
Did you know that's going to be the case?
That's not going to be the case. You're not going to have to have it. You're not going to have to have it, I don't think.
No, but slowly it will.
Well, maybe in hundreds of years' time. Maybe in hundreds of years' time. This isn't going to happen anytime soon, mate.
We're looking in the next decade.
No, that's not going to happen. You're not going to. No, okay, that might happen where people are wearing chips so they can buy things or use their wireless bloody chip in their wrist to buy whatever it may be. But you're not going to. It's not going to be a requirement that soon. Maybe in 100 years it might be a requirement because actually living it. That's probably the next stage for human evolution is symbiosis with technology, where we're actually using technology chips in us, whether it's in our brains, linked into your hypothalamus or whatever, so you can even feel things differently. Who knows? But the point is, like, you might actually at one point benefit significantly from using, like a augmented reality chip within your brain, which gives you more information. You can see further, you can see sharper, you can hear better, you can do all these things.
Absolutely disgusts me. The whole idea of this absolutely disgusts me because you, as my friend, you're sat there saying this could be brilliant for humankind.
Could be, yeah. Could be the next step of evolution for us.
Information quicker. I mean, do you know what? Even though I use my phone regularly, I use my phone to do the Pig and the Hen show, etc., etc. And we all got so used to using our phone. But when I go out and about, I go on the bus, I go on the metro, the tube system out here, everybody's on their phone. Nobody talks to each other anymore. Everybody's just into their phone. Okay, that's fine. I'm not saying that's a problem. Society has changed. But if you actually look into what these mainstream, if you could call them mainstream, conspiracy theorists are talking about, it's scary that slowly we are getting watered down to the effect where we're so reliant on our handheld devices, our mobile phones, etc. We're waiting for 5G to come out. I'll talk about that on another podcast. But we'll get to that stage where we don't even need phones anymore. We just put a fucking chip on our head. Don't need a phone. You can just see through your eyes whatever information you want to access. You've got it all in your head. But I think people are forgetting the fact that once you go down that road, you're putting your soul, your human soul, into other people's hands. Because bottom line, you've got something stuck in your head where you don't know who's got control over that. You don't know what that means. And suddenly, one day, bang, you've got Skynet. You got fucking Terminator, or whatever crazy science fiction movie you've seen becomes reality, where that thing in your head that you thought brilliant, I can watch Pornhub as much as I want just by thinking about it. Suddenly, you're not even in control of what the fuck you're doing anymore. Yeah, and that is the scary thing. And please remember, ladies and gentlemen, that is where society's going.
Dude, do you know you just created the best sci-fi story I've ever heard in my life. Like, we need to write this down on a bit of paper, mate. Probably shouldn't have done it on the pig in the head. But basically, yeah, it's the future. Everyone gets these augmented reality chips put into their brain, which makes them feel more intensely, see more intensely, hear better, access to all information around the world. But then guess what happens? Some Lex Luthor type individual breaks the code and suddenly controls everyone, and then he has a horde of his own freaking zombie people, effectively, his own cyborgs that he's controlling.
It's not about breaking the code.
He's controlling them because of the chip that's in their brain.
But it's not about.
I'm saying that's an awesome plot for a sci-fi movie. That one.
I'm not talking. Listen, I'm not talking about some villain breaking the code and taking control.
You're talking about AI,
of something that's supposed to be a good thing.
Well, that's another great story too.
Is this whole concept is actually bottom line developed by elitist, globalist, evil people.
Yeah.
Somehow, deep down. And that's what scares me. And I'm not saying that that's what I believe. What I'm saying is there's a lot of people that believe that, and you need to do your research.
Fair play. Well,
and I'm going to keep saying that.
I think it's an important. I do think it's an important part of society or future society, that you're going to see artificial intelligence come into it. You're going to see augmented reality, and you're going to see integration of technology within human beings more and more. I mean, you know, there's examples of it already that happens, where it's happened. Whether it be, you know, I've seen people go snowboarding and they've got these goggles on, which is telling them elevation, it's telling them speed, it's telling them, you know, slickness of the snow and all this crazy, maybe not that, but it's telling them all this information. It's augmenting their reality. Now, that's a very, very early stage example of that. But, I mean, imagine if you just had a chip in your brain where you could just see, in the future, you see something on the horizon, and then you just think, how far away is that? And you focus on it, and then a little thing pops up in your eye that says 7,241 meters, depth, you know, altitude, and all this crap. Like, it would be very, very useful to have that sort of stuff accessed just immediately within your own brain. But me personally, I'm old school. I don't want any shit like that within my body unless it's an absolute requirement in the future. And I don't think it will be anytime soon. I really don't. But it could well be. I mean, somebody commented here with a very, very true comment, which is 20 years ago, this is Fez Hun who comment, thank you very much, Fez. 20 years ago, FaceTime was in enterprise movies. Pig, if someone told you 20 years ago that this will come in your lifetime, you would say it's nonsense. That's very true, mate. Like, realistically, we used to look at...
And this is the point I'm trying to
We still haven't got flying cars, though. I think that maybe Elon Musk, the douchebag, actually... quite like Elon Musk, but I think, hang on a sec, you're doing all these Tesla Roadsters, these electric cars, that's freaking great, mate. You're trying to get augmented, or whatever you're doing, symbiosis with technology and humans. Why don't you focus on making Back to the Future a reality and give us a flying DeLorean, you prick? That's what we all want. We want a hoverboard so we can skateboard down the fucking street, Elon.
Going back to the chip thing, okay, do you know why people have a massive problem with this? And you're talking about chips at the wrist, and this is already happening in terms of actually using that chip to buy and sell things. That is already happening. did you know there's actually reference to this in the Bible? And I'm not going to turn the pig of the head into some kind of religious podcast, okay?
Yeah.
But bottom line, this is something called Mark of the Beast, and people probably know what I'm talking about if they're following my tracks here at all.
Go on.
And this is something where it actually says in the Bible that the devil will essentially place something in our body, or people working for the devil will place something upon our body as human beings, either in your hand or in that area or in your head, which you'll need to buy and sell things and to be a normal human being. And that is what is scaring the shit out of your fundamental Christian society out there. And there's a lot of truth to it, that reality that the Bible mentions is now coming into existence. And that this is something that we need to look at.
Fair play, mate. It's a really interesting topic you brought up there. See, this is the sort of stuff I like to talk about, Henry. This is good. This is minor conspiracy theory stuff. Do you know what I mean? This is actually tolerable.
What do you mean minor? This is major. For me, in some ways, this is the number one biggest thing. Human eugenics. Basically, I was talking about fluorine last week. Is about depopulating the planet to the extent where it's kind of like not just depopulating it, actually lowering the IQ of your normal human being, so that the people that actually worship the devil, etc., can then
mind control.
go ahead.
You're talking about mind control, mate.
Planet.
Yes, you're talking about mind control here. Like, you're effectively talking about somebody who can control, or not even somebody, but something that can control the hordes of human beings in the future. It's not beyond the realms of possibility, mate. I do think that that's a possibility in the future when you're talking about wearing technology or actually implanting technology. Then there's going to be all sorts of problems that throws up, all sorts of things that weren't considered. There's going to be some crazy stuff happening. It reminds me of an old episode of Red Dwarf where they, I don't know if you ever used to watch it, but they stuck this chip in the back of his neck, and then they sort of used him like a remote control human to do their bad bidding, right? It's kind of like that in the future. Like, you probably will get some scenarios where that sort of stuff happens.
But I think they'll just get rid of humans. Humans will be, what's the word for it? Degenicized or whatever it is. We just be got rid of. And replaced by cyborgs.
Or maybe they'll use the human body as like they'll like have a host, and they'll use the human body as like their vehicle. That could absolutely be the possibility.
Like this.
Yeah.
I mean, for our American listeners out there, if you actually look into a recent, is it NBC? That's one of the major American broadcasters, is it not? They've actually come out with this tabloid story written by someone that's kind of like somehow well known in that scene of knowing about this type of thing, actually talking about the end of human society and the introduction to cyborg society run by the globalist ultra elites, essentially. Right, look into
loving
it.
These comments at the end of this stream here. So, Scruffulous Beast, how you doing? Comments, well, the Apple logo is a reference to Adam and Eve, the apple with the bit out of it. Kevin Tobin, yeah, or it could just be an apple with a bite out of it. Scruffulous Beast.
I've never heard that.
I actually heard the other day. I don't know how true this is. That Steve Jobs, when he designed the Apple logo, he got some famous graphic designer or logo designer to do it, and he just said, "Look, we're called Apple. I want you to design a logo." And he wasn't even allowed any revisions. This guy, and he paid him $200,000 to make him a logo, and he was not allowed any revisions. Whatever he got given, that was the logo, and that is the Apple logo that they currently use. So it's like, that's the easiest 200k anybody's ever made. So hang on, your company's called Apple. What should we lose as a fucking logo then? I mean, he got a bad deal on that one, but it is iconic. Kevin Tobin comments, just arrived. Are we talking about anal probes? We're not onto that just yet. Gungchi making people more compliant. Yeah, the Music Fiend's got a comment for you, Henry, here. He says, yeah, but Hen, that statement implied a more spiritual, metaphysical manifestation as opposed to these technological enhancements which are actually physical. So he thinks that statement in the Bible that you're referring to is actually nothing to do with technology. But I guess it's how you interpret it, though, isn't it?
Well, of course it is. Of course it is. I mean, this stuff scares me. I probably had too much free time on my hands recently. I've been looking into stuff, but I think it's worth talking about, and a lot of people don't talk about it. What I will say is, if anybody out there that listens to or watches the Joe Rogan show, many times Joe Rogan mentions something called DMT. Okay, and I could say for a fact that's something that I have never experienced, nor I believe the pig has. Okay, but that's right, Pig. Is that you never had DMT, have you?
I'm on dimethyltryptamine right now, my friend.
Oh wow.
No, I never have done, mate.
Okay.
Never have done. And to be honest,
The
I know
DMT
it's not something that I want to do because I think it just freaked me out too much. To be perfectly honest with you, I know that's a bit of a narrow mind. But there you go.
This is something that I've done a bit of research into this, and it's the type of drug that's actually been used throughout the years of human existence. Maybe it wasn't called DMT 2,000 years ago, but they had access to drugs that delivered.
It was called ayahuasca.
Exactly, delivered this similar kind of experience to the human brain. Okay, and you go into these psychedelic experiences. And something that's always happened and has been recorded on countless times is you actually end up experiencing dialogue or conversation or communication with these beings. People call them elves or machine elves or something like that, but they look like greys essentially. These alien entities, okay, that are telling you things and they're trying to get you to do things. And it's messed up. And there's been reported situations where people have taken DMT together as a group and actually afterwards said that, yes, we've actually experienced or encountered
like a group hallucination.
Beings from another dimension together. A group hallucination where you're experiencing something together. Okay. And it's fucking scary. Okay. And I think it's a distraction thinking about aliens in terms of UFOs, people visiting us right now, physical aliens flying around in the sky, Area 51, that kind of shit. I think it's a distraction. I think the actual real alien entities, if there are any, from what I've been looking into, if you're into this kind of far out shit, is looking into these kind of experiences from using DMT, looking at the history books. So you look at the shit that's been written in the caves and the etc. etc. I don't think that actually came from the skies. I think that it came through drugs.
Yeah, well, there's that old thing that they do talk about on Joe Rogan a lot, which is the, I think it's, what's it called? It's got like a weird name, like the animascaria mushroom or something. I forget the name of it now. But basically they think that the evolution of the human mind is basically largely down to the consumption of these mushrooms by an ancient tribe, where, okay, they had these, they had their own intelligence, but because they just stumbled across these mushrooms and ate them, ingested them, and it had these profound effects on the brain and the way they perceived everything, it opened up these doors in their minds, which allowed them to then progress as a species and look at things in a different way and give them answers that maybe they were not capable of thinking that way before. So yeah, I mean, I think that that's it. Gungshi says it's called the Amanita muscaria. Yeah, so it's absolutely it's absolutely
fucking hell, Gungshi, mate. I thought you were just a normal fan that liked the football, but me and the pig are talking crazy shit right now, and he's in there with the vocab. I'm impressed.
Yeah, and Alex Rudd super chatting here and said they think that the burning bush was drug-induced vision. So there's lots of examples of this in the past.
Classic.
Yeah, there's lots of examples of this in the past where you could possibly say that's happened. I think there's a lot of basis in that. I do, because I think the human evolution of the mind, it seems to happen in such a short amount of time. What is the radical change that caused that to happen? Well, maybe it's the ingestion of psychedelic drugs. Maybe it is indeed. Fair play. Should we wrap this one up then, Hen? It's a fascinating chat, though. I'm loving it. We should do a conspiracy show.
Well, I mean, I feel like, Picking the Hen show after Picking the Hen show, it is slowly becoming more and more. So if people like it and want to talk about it, then I'm more than happy to do so. Bottom line, current conspiracy, current stuff that we need to be looking at has to be Jeffrey Epstein, the suicide. We've talked about this recently. Obviously, a victim concerned has been accusing a member of the royal family. And do you know what? Mainstream media basically barely talk about it. You just got to question it. It's like you know people up there in positions of power are looking after other people, and us as normal Earth citizens.
It's a disgrace, mate. It's amazing how much power corrupts. Like, I watched this video the other day. This is completely irrelevant to what we're talking about. But it's crazy how much power corrupts. So there's a dash cam footage of this cop in America. I don't know where or what state or whatever. But he pulls this guy over for a traffic offence, whether it's speeding, I can't remember now. And he goes up to the guy's window, and you just hear, because it's being recorded, the audio is being recorded, the driver of the vehicle that he's just pulled over says to him, "I suggest you go back to your vehicle and run the plates on this car right now." And the guy goes, okay. The cop goes back to his car, does the check, finds out, obviously, the information that the guy was referring to, walks back up the window, and just says, "You have a good day, Judge." Now, how freaking wrong is that? That is just society in a nutshell. Power corrupts. Power,
Wow.
Like, that just shouldn't be the way. But that, unfortunately, is how society works, my friend. So I think that's always going to be the way. Right, we've got a few comments here I just want to read out at the end, but I think we're going to wrap it up soon. Hot Shot, how you doing? This is the creator of my new logo. Thank you so much, Alex. We've got another Alex in here, but we'll just refer to him as Hot Shot. It's easier. He says, Sup, Pig and the Hen. This is a trippy chat. Love it. Thoughts on fizzy drinks? I'll let you answer that one, Hen.
My thoughts on fizzy drinks. I love fizzy drinks, grown up on them. I actually went through like pretty much a couple of years in my early teens not drinking any water at all and just drinking fizzy drinks. So, I mean, they kept me alive at the end of the day.
Fair play. I mean, I love fizzy drinks too.
It was not a good thing to do. Fucking awful. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. How could I just do that and think that's okay?
They're freaking terrible for you, really.
But they taste good. They're terrible for you. They taste
great.
Good.
Like, there's nothing better on a hot summer's day than a cold, ice-filled glass of Coca-Cola. Oh my days! But then the Coca-Cola company, that's a conspiracy theory in itself, mate. There's some dodgy stuff going on within the Coca-Cola company, isn't there? People
we'll leave that one for now.
We'll
leave that one for now. But what I wanted to say is, I think Coke. If you actually bought Coke at a shop and they actually put like a little bit more water in it would be more tasty.
Yeah,
we've had this conversation before.
Yeah, that's why I say an ice-filled glass, because if you fill a glass right up with ice and then pour Coca-Cola in it, it does dilute it ever so slightly, and I think it tastes better, mate. So I'm with you on that. It
tastes much better.
Yeah.
So if you could buy a bottle that was actually, I mean, fuck Coke Zero and Diet Coke and stuff, even though I do hit Coke Zero.
Oh, they're terrible.
Just imagine, why don't they just bring out original Coke, but like
slightly watered
down.
Call
it Coke 90. Call it Coke 90, where it's literally chilled normal Coke, but it's just not quite as rich.
10% water.
It'd be a hell of a lot more refreshing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think that's a fucking good idea, mate. Comment from Ricky Singh. Bruno Mars is gone. Thank God he came for the money. Can't blame him. He's been misunderstood from Jose Day, so good riddance. Yeah, I mean, you can't blame him for coming on that offer. Absolutely anybody would. I would hope to expect more from him. We didn't get that. Now it's time to move on. See you later on, Bruno. I feel the same. Darren Young, I'm not Darren Young. I want to read your comment out, but it's just going to open up a can of worms. Maybe we will talk about it next week. But Darren Young says, "Who made the pyramids and moved the huge stones?" Don't answer that, Hen. We're going to talk about this next week. Griffo Chad says, "We haven't." Hang on a second. What are you doing? What are you?
Sorry, I'm trying to sing a bit of Bruno, mate.
Don't. Go on then, actually.
Bruno, because he's gone now, mate.
Okay, go on then.
He's gone now.
Because Henry likes to think of himself as a bit of a singer, so go for it. You go.
No, I don't.
Do what you want.
Fuck you, mate.
Go on.
Fuck you, mate. I was trying to make a little,
Go on. Chinese Idol.
Have a little sing song, which would be fitting to the fact that Sanchez is gone.
Come on, mate. China's got talent. Go.
So I should have bought you flowers, blah, blah, blah. What's the lyrics, mate? You know the lyrics to that song.
I could have bought you flowers and held your hand, given you all my hours when I had the chance.
Take it to every party because all I wanted to do was dance. etc., etc., mate.
Now
That's
my
what I mean.
baby's dancing. She's dancing with another man.
With Inter Milan. That's it, mate.
Oh, fantastic. Good move, mate. I like it. Right. We're gonna wrap this show up now, guys. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in. Any final words, Hen?
No, mate. Just honestly,
Good show today,
thank
mate.
you
Good
so
show.
much. Thank you so much to the statesman-like listeners this evening that have stayed with us during this show. Listen to us talk about the football. Listen to us talking about the random shit that we talk about. And thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you and getting involved with you. We need to work out this call-in stuff so that we can speak to these people. We do.
Yes, we do.
Work on it, Pig.
We'll work on it. Just want to say thanks to everybody who's tuned in today. You're a bunch of legends. Do us a favour before you go. Smash a like on this video. And if we didn't respond to you somehow, I think we pretty much responded to almost everyone that got involved today. But if we didn't, come back in a few moments once this video has been published and get your thoughts in on anything we discussed in the YouTube comments section, because we love interacting with you guys. Me and the Hen, or both of us, will respond to you if you do that. So please do that. Also, circle it in your diary. You guys know, but anybody who's new to this show, every single Wednesday at 3 p.m, we do the Pig and the Hen show live. It's often about football. It's often about other stuff. Today, I titled it Alexis Sanchez to Inter and also Bury expelled from the EFL, but most of this talk conversation wasn't about that. It's just a Premier League breakdown in general as well every week. So, but yeah, much appreciated. Love that you guys have taken the time to tune in and watch with us. So thanks very much for doing that. You can follow us on social media at Mr. Flying Pig HD for me and at Henry_Hotspur for Henry. So go and give him a follow on Twitter. Please do. You can send him anything you like, and I'm not sure he'll respond to you actually, because he doesn't respond to me on there. So
please remember, lads and lasses, when it comes to the conspiracy stuff, I honestly believe that there's other people on YouTube that are no longer on YouTube because they talk about things like this. And for us, this is a side note, but do remember, if something happens to us, you know what's happened. Okay, so just let's all get together as a community and just be happy to talk about whatever. We're not saying that this is what we fundamentally believe. Whatever we say on this show, it's just discussion, lads and lasses.
Absolutely, well said. So thank you to everybody tuning in. Have yourselves a good week. I've been the Pig.
I've been the Hen.
And we'll see you on next week's Pig of the Hen show. You take it easy. Have yourselves a good one.
Pig and the Hen. Pig and the Pig and the Hen. Pig and the Hen show. 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 Pig and the Hen show.